Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. Um, Again, I have the squeaky chair. Not really sure how I can stop that. It's not a WD-40 job, but there you go. Some things are meant to squeak, eh? Thank you for joining me live this morning, and thank you for those of you who listen to this or rewatch these back on the replay. I am grateful for each and every one of you that takes the time and to watch these and chooses to share with your friends too. So thank you so much. So today is about vision, how it motivates creation. Now, I'm sorry I couldn't think of a better title to give it. I'm not into clickbait type titles, but this one is quite an important one, especially given the times that we're in now. So, if you've ever found yourself feeling stuck in a certain situation, or there's something that you want to do, maybe you want to make a plan to do something, set a goal to do something, move forward with something, or you found yourself in that place where you're kind of sitting in that question of should I, shouldn't I, would it work, would it not, then actually this episode of Monday Motivation will be just for you. Now, whilst there are many of you who watch this who are business owners, many of you who watch this because you're ambitious and you're at work and you're thinking, how can I get ahead? And some of you who watch this for the kind of life coaching side of it, those sorts of skills, I want to say this is a very interesting topic because, to be honest with you, this spans all areas of life, whether it's health, whether it's business, whether it's career, whether it's diet, whether it's wellness. This is like the nucleus that starts it all. And I've watched over the years, with myself and with other clients and other people, as we've gone through just some of the steps that I can share with you today, because we've only got a limited amount of time, right? But some of the steps that we've gone through that have actually culminated in people being able to be clearer, and you know what? Getting mental clarity on a specific situation is so liberating and so freeing. So this is why I thought this would be an ideal topic for Monday. So if you're watching for the first time, you've never seen one of these before, and you're thinking, Monday motivation, is this just the thing that the M for motivation rhymes with Monday? Let me tell you how this started. Quite a few years ago, over a decade ago now, I was a senior manager in financial services here in the UK, and Mondays seemed to get a bit of a bad reputation. People would not look forward to Mondays. They would, Mondays was something almost to be kind of, dreaded, if you like, for want of a better word. By the way, if you're watching, can you just give me a thumbs up or a love heart? I can see number counts going up. I can't see any comments or anything else like that. Not that I've asked you to comment or anything, but I just want to test because I had a lot of trouble joining on this morning and it kept dropping various bits of information. So thumbs up or a love heart would be great, just so that I know the technology is doing what it's supposed to do or not doing, or doing what it's not supposed to be doing. At which point I'm wondering where my other phone is to check. Anyway, so I decided on a Monday when I worked in senior management in financial services, I decided what a great idea it would be that if on Monday morning when you opened up your emails, one of the first emails, thank you to whoever did that, I can see it's working. So, hey, good morning, Alan. Good, the technology is working finally. Technology, don't fail us now. Wouldn't it be good if you could if when you got to work, knowing that you had a busy week, knowing that you're going to have back-to-back meetings, knowing that, you don't know what's going to happen in the week, wouldn't it be great if at least one of the emails you opened gave you a little bit of a spring in your step? So these Monday motivations are definitely created to help you motivate not just your morning, not just your Monday, but actually just to motivate your week. And you get to choose how you apply it. You get to choose who you share it with. You get to choose how you digest any of the information shared. You get to choose how you respond to it as well. This is not me telling you what to do and how to do it. This is me sharing some information and some of my expertise so that you can do with it whatever feels appropriate to you. Okay, so I am not your motivator. Anyway, so this morning, where did this come from? Well, recently I was working on a program that I created quite some years ago actually, and I was reviewing it and tidying it up. And one of the things that I notice, regardless of what I'm doing with somebody, whether it's in a one-to-one setting, whether it's in a group setting, whether it's in an online course setting, whatever I'm doing, and in fact it spans past my business, you know, let's be honest with you, I've been in meetings, I've been a facilitator at other people's meetings, you know, I have spoken to friends and family in distress, I have seen people kind of disagreeing on a point and kind of like, I was going to say jumped in, that makes me sound like I jump out of the bushes and get involved in everything. One of the things that I always want to understand right up front is, like, where are you now and where are you going to? The most important of the two is where are you going to, and this can be achieved by visioning. So in my blurb that I put out, I said that I would talk about why this matters, what it is, how to do it, and how it benefits you. So why is this important? It's important because if you don't, and you know, you might not call it vision, given that I'm a visibility specialist, I think it's quite an apt word to use, and given that the visibility has nothing to do with eyesight per se and everything to do with you putting yourself out there in the world. Regardless of what you're doing, like, you could be making breakfast, you could be deciding on a hot drink to have, you will always need to actually start from not where you are now, but actually where do you want to go to. So with me, I don't drink coffee, I'm not very good with caffeine, which means I don't drink traditional tea. So in my cupboards, just over there, I have boxes of, you know, fruit tea, herb tea, you know, mint tea, things like that. Before I can really kind of get clear in my mind as to what I want to drink, I need to make a decision. Like, for me, what do I want to drink? And that is actually a very simple way of de-stressing other areas of our lives. Before we go out and do the thing, want the thing, think of the thing, wouldn't it be great if we could get more kind of automated in a way, more automatically thinking about, well, what do I want from this? Now, this is where it becomes kind of different or difficult for some people and not for others. You might argue, well, Jenny, you've had thousands, millions of drinks in your time, so at least you know what the mint tea is going to taste like. You know what your hot lemon water is going to taste like, which is actually what I'm drinking this morning. Apparently, if you're a dentist, you will know that after you've drunk hot lemon water, you shouldn't brush your teeth for at least half an hour. It does something to the enamel. There you go. Useless bit of information. But you know, when I go to select a cup of tea of whatever my choice is, a hot drink of whatever my choice is, I can usually be safe in the knowledge that at least I've done it before, so I've got some sort of expectation about how it's going to turn out. So here's where visioning becomes important, because sometimes, like a few weeks ago when I bought a supermarket brand of their own tea, which I'd never tasted before, I made a decision that I was going to try that tea. I had no point of reference as to what it tasted like, whether I would like it or not. I assumed I would because of the flavours, but I didn't know for sure. And there are some things that we do in life that we make a plan or decide that we want to do it, and we skip out the visioning part because we've never done it before. And this is where the road can sometimes get rocky. So what do you do? So this is where good old-fashioned pen and paper always comes in handy. Pen and paper is great for three things in my book, well, probably more, but three things that I can think of right now. One is for if you wake up in the middle of the night with ideas buzzing around your head and it stops you from sleeping. Pen and paper, even if you do it in the dark where you can't physically see what you're writing, if you write it write it down, it empties it out of your head, adds a little bit more kind of settling and allows you to sleep. Second thing is that's really good is quite obvious if you want to remember something, but more importantly, if there's something that's really emotionally important to you, it feels a lot different when you write it down, pen to paper. It goes from your head, through your body, through your arm, than if you type it or tap it onto your phone. Just feels different and has a different effect on the body. And the third thing, which is relevant to this, is when we are planning to do something, if you write it down, it has a similar effect to what I was saying, how it comes out of the brain through the body and onto paper. It has a similar effect, and it can be revised and clarified. And the act of writing it out, and even just the act actually of writing it out, not necessarily even rereading it back again, actually starts off a process which makes it a little bit easier for your thoughts to gain more clarity, to settle. So if you are wanting to motivate yourself to create something, it could be to create something new, create something physically. You know, I know that some of my Vibers were talking about a challenge that's been going around about an online course. One of the things that I have done for many years, whether it's an online course, whether it's a live training, whether it's going into a company and delivering something, I've always started off with this process. Sorry, my voice seems to be breaking at like 7:50 in the morning. So one of the things I've always done is got really clear on where I'm going to. And this is where I kind of, if I was going to the gym, it would be like building a muscle. Good morning. Hey Sarah, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for saying good morning. If I was going to the gym, I'd be doing repetitions, like building, repetitions of exercises to build a muscle. And I really feel like this is a muscle that I've honed. Do you ever get to perfection? Well, not really. Shall I tell you why? You get to mastery of it, where you become really good at the press-ups or whatever it is you're doing. You never become perfect at it, because if you stop, then you end up having to start again. A bit like when I've been marathon training, I hurt my heel last December, and I had to stop for a couple of weeks to give it a bit of a rest. And what was worrying to me was, like, how would I be when I started up again? I'm a new runner, and thankfully my body remembered. It wasn't quite the same as if I hadn't have stopped, but as I continued, I kind of went back a couple of steps, but I built it up really quickly. And doing this visioning process is exactly the same. Whatever it is you want to do, a really good question to ask yourself is, what specifically do I want from this? Could be situation, it could be outcome, it could be anything. When we ask ourselves that question, sometimes straight away we know the answers. Other times it pauses us and it makes us think, when I remember working with a particularly quite a well-known brand and going in and having a meeting with the project manager, a director of the business, and one of the other managers, as well as some of the sort of team leaders. About 8 people around a table, and I said, it's really great that you want this piece of training. If there was one thing that you could get as a result of this training for your people, what would it be? And I call this the pinball question, especially when there's more than one person involved, because that's when people's first answer is usually, oh, that's a really interesting question, never thought of it. Or sometimes, I don't know. And the inquiry is in there, well, if they did know, what would it be piece? This is where it's really good to give people some time and space. Sometimes it's like a matter of seconds where they think, you see their eyes darting about all over the place, which is why I refer to it as a pinball, because their eyes are like a pinball, kind of going, yeah, that's interesting, what could that be like, and they go through and they have this thought process. Once you get that destination, if you like, that outcome, it means that when you go back to where you are today, standing at the kettle thinking, I really fancy a drink, I feel parched, or I just would like a hot drink in between what I'm doing. It means that Now you know where you're going to, you can come back a step, look at where you are now, and you can work on the gap. Where do you need to get to right now, or where do you need to get from right now to get to that thing? When you have made the decision on that outcome, you've recognised where you are right now. The piece in the middle is the gap. But before you go and do, because that's where a lot of my clients come to me and go, actually I feel a bit stuck, I don't know which way to go next. That's when the visioning comes in. Now it's interesting that over the last decade or so, how the law of attraction has come into a lot of people's awareness, because the law of attraction actually incorporates that. The piece that people pluck from the law of attraction tends to be the sit and vision it. And I always joke and say, if that was the case, there'd be lots of people up and down the world actually that would have a couple of Porsches on their drive and probably naked women outside their door, you know. And although I joke about that, it isn't just about sitting and going, oh, I'm going to vision this, I'm going to stick it on my vision board. That's a part of a process. But visioning the thing that you've thought about that you would like, visioning it from a place of, I've got it, you know, I have it, I'm doing it, I've done it, actually catapults within the body your ability to be able to do the thing. Why? Because like me choosing my cup of hot drink and going to the supermarket and trying out a new flavour, I don't know exactly what it's going to taste like. I don't know exactly whether I'm going to love it, like it or loathe it. But what I do know is that in the journey in between, I'm going to find out. And what it actually does is it means that if you get to the end of the journey and it's not quite how you thought it might be, because you've already imagined it, you've already visioned it, it means that you can make the relevant tweaks, the necessary tweaks to get it to where you want it to be. Now, I've spoken quite a lot through this live. I've kind of spoken more at you than with you today. So if anything that I've said makes any sense at all, by all means, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts and what you do or what you don't do. But more importantly, I'd love to hear, like, what did you get from this? And I know that sounds a strange question, but what did you get from this? As in, what did it open up for you? What did it remind you of? Did you have a light bulb moment? You know, I get so many messages from people saying, oh my gosh, you know, when you said so-and-so, this happened. I love receiving those messages because it means that at least what I'm putting out there is making a difference to you in the world. The reason I encourage you to put it on a post like this is we, and especially given the current times that we're in now, but we, generally speaking, always feel like the situation we're in, because it's so unique to us, that we're the only person in that situation, and that's very rarely true. And what I love is that when you put your comments in the box below, your thoughts, your additions, your questions or anything else, it helps to open something up for other people. So in these current times, whether you're homeschooling and you've never done it before and you're thinking, what on earth am I going to do with the kids today? Whether you are writing your next book and you're thinking, there's a couple of ideas that I could write a book on, but which one, you know, to go for? Whether you're thinking of joining the masses and getting a course up there, out there and online, or whether you're thinking for yourself, you know what, this is a strange dynamic, you know, being with this person 24/7 and I'm not used to it, or being without the person 24/7 and I'm not used to it. Whatever's going on in your life, maybe you're eating too much pasta and you're a bit bored of it and you want to change your diet. How do you do that when you go to the shops and literally can sometimes forage within a shop? All of these things, like, try it with something that feels important to you. Don't class it as a big thing or a small thing. Just class it as something that's important to you, that you would like to do differently, get a different result than you would normally do before. Make sense? If it does, give me a thumbs up or a love heart. If it doesn't, do ask your question, because I'm about to sign off and sign out in about 60 seconds. So I do want to say thank you for watching this. Thank you for those of you who share these as well. I really appreciate it. And to me, this is something to be shared on your timeline, because you never know who of your Facebook friends or family or acquaintances or colleagues might need to hear this message right now. You know, I pick topics and I pick themes in advance, but what I tend to do when it comes to the actual Monday motivation, I'll look back on the week I've had or the days that I've had and look for almost like common themes of conversations or of patterns that have come up within my world, maybe with clients or maybe without, and I'll share it. And I felt like this one is really important. You know, many people have discussed the feeling that I almost feel like their choices have been taken away from them. This visioning can actually motivate you to create choices within the choices that you have, so it doesn't feel so restrictive. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. To my lovely Vibers, do go into the group and check the notifications or the announcements in the group, because we have a call today at 10:30, which is open to anyone who's part of the Vibes tribe. So if you're watching this on YouTube or you're rewatching this on the Facebook page and you're not part of the Vibes tribe, do go in there. You know, some of us love the whole kind of meeting up with people, which we do online. We did last week, we've done it this week. I might look at doing it once every 2 weeks, depending on what the appetite is for it. But all the details are on there, you know, the link, the password, everything else. So I look forward to seeing some of you at 10:30, which is, 2.5 hours time, by which time I can hopefully go out, go for a little run, and come back in and be all refreshed and waiting to see like how you're all doing. Okay, thank you for watching, thank you for sharing, and I'd love to know your thoughts, especially what did you get from this? And I love the what did you get from this, which was something new that you hadn't really thought of before. Love those, I get stupidly excited. Thank you for posting in the comments below. Bye for now.